Henshin a go-go, baby! We're reviewing Viewtiful Joe, Red Hot Rumble.
Nintendo reviews, countdowns, let's plays, other assorted stuff. You're watching the Rba12. For some reason, no one really talks about Viewtiful Joe, Red Hot Rumble. I'm not entirely sure why, because it's a really great sort of spin-off from the main Viewtiful Joe series. First, let's talk about the game as a standalone game. Viewtiful Joe, Red Hot Rumble is like a mix between Super Smash Bros. And WarioWare. At the core, it's an action-packed, multiplayer-focused fighting game with a ton of extra WarioWare minigames in between. You'll be fighting your opponents when suddenly you have to defeat the most enemies or collect the most points. The minigames are simple and reappear multiple times in different stages, so you'll get used to them fairly quickly. However, depending on the stage, your strategy for completing the minigame will be different. Whether the stage is scrolling, there's a bottomless pit, or there's a boss in your way, you'll have to develop a plan for winning the Viewtiful tokens. The Viewtiful tokens, I don't actually think that's what they're called, but oh well, that's what we're gonna call them, are coins that you get for defeating enemies, stealing from your opponents, or winning the minigames. At the end of the stage, whoever gets the most Viewtiful tokens wins. To get these tokens, you can utilize multiple abilities to rise above the competition, which can be picked up in orbs. Mach speed turns you into a fireball. Slow slows everyone down, but keeps you at a normal speed. Zoom makes you really tall, and sound effects let you charge up projectiles to fire at foes. There are also many games that involve button mashing or precise timing and reflexes that can knock out all players but the winner. Now that we know how to play the game, let's move on to the controls. Each character has their own moveset and therefore controls differently. Joe can charge up fiery punches, Captain Blue Jr. can form a destructive tornado, and Sylvia can charge up giant beams with her pistols. The buttons feel natural and there's never any confusion. However, this being a fighting game, there are lots of different buttons to be used and can be difficult at first for younger players and beginners. Next up is the graphics. As far as I know, this game is supposed to be centered around the anime that was aired on TV a few years back. Because of this, the cutscenes all look like they could be from the anime. Who knows, maybe they were. I never saw the show. However, during the action, everything has some gorgeous 3D models that are a pleasure to look at. The story in this game is pretty interesting, although not too important at the same time. Since Captain Blue has retired, all the other characters from the Viewtiful Joe universe have to fight for the lead role in all of the upcoming movies. It doesn't matter when you're playing the game, but it's still pretty neat and original. I have one question though. If Captain Blue retired because he no longer wants to be in movies, why can you choose to play as him, to fight for the lead role? It makes no sense. Oh well, Captain Blue is cool, so it's alright as long as you get to play as him. Now for the gameplay. The mix of Super Smash Bros. And WarioWare works great. It involves a lot of multitasking. Not only must you beat up your opponents to take their coins, you also have to complete the challenge to gain the huge bonus awarded to the winner. It's action-packed, difficult, and fun, and it works. One complaint here, though, is the portal minigame. I don't think that's what that's called either, but again, oh well. Some of them are a bit cryptic, and I still don't know what to do in them. Also, the AI is unrealistically good at them. I lose just about every single one I wind up in. Next up is the sound. The soundtrack is good, but it's not too memorable. The only music I can remember is the main menu music, unfortunately. It sounds good when you're playing the game, but it's nothing you'll be humming in your head. Also, the sound effects are great. Next time you find yourself throwing a punch in the air, you might shout, "Red Hot!" Whenever you hear the word slow, you'll repeat that word in a taunting way like, "Slow!" They're really great and always complement the mood of the game. Finally, we have replayability. This game is a blast when you first play it, and will be a blast the next time you play it. It's a great one to pick up and play every now and then with some friends. The levels feel fresh every time you play them, and are a joy to run through. One sad part, however, is that there is no co-op mode. Although the menu screen would suggest you can play story mode with 4 people, only the battle mode is multiplayer functional. It's a little disappointing, but the battle mode is a ton of fun, and almost like the story mode, so it isn't too bad. Well, that's Viewtiful Joe Red Hot Rumble as a standalone game. How is it compared to other Viewtiful Joe games? Well, it's still a beat 'em up at the core. This one feels... well, It's still a beat 'em up at the core, but this one feels a bit more like a fighter. The reason I said sort of spin-off earlier is because it's got a lot of similarities with the original games, but it still goes its own separate way. Instead of having a VFX meter, you have to gather up a slow orb to use a slow power, for example. Also, all of the VFX attacks function a lot differently. Like, Mach speed will turn you into a fireball that will make you run around the screen, rather than make you go super fast and allow you to pull off some really cool combos. So, in the end, if you're looking for a new Viewtiful Joe game just like the others, you'll be disappointed. Don't let that stop you, though, from getting this one. It's fun to play alone, with friends, or in any other situation, as its own game. So, because of this, I give this game an 8.5 out of 10. Although its music isn't quite as funky and catchy as it was in previous Viewtiful Joe installments, and some Portal minigames can cause you to lose the whole stage because of cryptic controls, Viewtiful Joe Red Hot Rumble is still a great multiplayer game to make and break friendships with. Henshin a go-go, baby!